Welcome to part two. We're joined by James. James, do you think that Big Ron can be a little bit disappointed with Rhino because he went crawling back to Big Ron after a big long layoff, didn't he, for years? Had five, six fights with Big Ron. Do you think Big Ron can feel a little bit, let down?
Um, I would say, I would say yeah, but then I think it's the old adage, isn't it? If you want loyalty, buy a dog. I mean, it can feel let down, but maybe once bitten, twice shy. I'm sure other people have let him down, and boxing's a business that doesn't really foster loyalty. It's the exception rather than the norm, isn't it? So I would say yeah, maybe yeah, but you should be used to it by now.
Do you think?
hmm No one's loyal in boxing, are they? Look at John Murray with Steve Wood, stuff like that.
Why? What about John Murray?
There was a load of stuff with Steve looked after him, and they had a bit of a falling out, didn't they? And he ended up going with Joe, didn't he? And you know what I mean? So you can do loads for a fighter, but at the end of the day, they'll do whatever they think's best, and obviously whatever Dave Allen thinks best isn't in the best interests of Dennis Hobson.
Well, yeah, but it's a two-way street in it. Fighters don't seem to be as loyal to promoters like they used to be, and vice versa, I think, really.
Yeah,
It's a two-way street, I guess, isn't it?
yeah.
I just
Shouldn't
think
be
it's a
surprised.
bit disappointing because after all he promised what they were going to do, it looks like it's just not happened, doesn't it?
Yeah, basically. I mean, you would have seen Russ more closely. How I know, like you and Dennis in much communication nowadays.
No, so I could walk into Dennis's house tomorrow, but
Yeah.
looking at it from out, I know I haven't spoken to Dennis for a good 18 months, but I could walk in his house tomorrow. But I look at it like this: I know Dennis better than he knows himself, and I just think that Rhino has shit on him from an high height.
Mm.
That's how I look at it, mate.
Yeah, I know what you mean. He gave him a lot. He did give him a lot of time, and let's face it, Dave's very very lucky to be in the position he's in because, as you say, lazy Rhino. You know what I mean? I've said this before on the channel. I would I'd give anything to be able to box, to have the opportunities that he's got, but I can't even walk about. Do you know what I mean? So it sticks in my throat a little bit sometimes when you get someone that lazy getting those opportunities when I know I'd kill for him. So yeah,
Yeah, it's disappointing to see, but like I said, Rhino's got to look after himself because when he were with Eddie Hills, he didn't really get looked after, did he? I guess.
no.
Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So we're going back to the Dubois fight, but why did he feel that he needed to ring up Eddie Hills, and say, "Oh, I've just been offered this fight package deal by a brick top, blah blah blah," and Eddie said, "Well, ask him for this much." And then he priced his son out of it. And then Eddie said, "Oh, don't worry, I'll match that." Now, he'll have gone home from there, the Rhino, and thought about that offer and thought, hang on a minute, months down the line, you just keep thinking that you've thrown that opportunity away. And
Mm.
now obviously they're trying to put it right, aren't they? That he's got some use to him. But where were Eddie for the last 4, 5, 6 years? Because he's been on Dennis's coattails, hasn't he? So if Dennis has been doing all the heavy lifting, can he feel a little bit aggrieved?
Yeah, when you put it like that, definitely you can. Yeah, because he's like looking after the ungrateful son, isn't it? You do everything for your son, and then he just like just stabs you in the back. And is the prodigal son going to return? I don't think so. He's too long in the tooth, Dave Allen. I think after this Johnny Fisher fight, he's got to give serious questions as to where his career's going. And I've said before, anything short of a knockout, I think he's got to end his career. He can't win it on points and then carry on. He's got to stop him this time.
Yeah, Oh
Mm,
yeah, Rhino's got to stop him to win. He can't let it go to points because they're not. He don't do tickets. He never did any tickets on any Dennis shows.
no,
Them last 5, 6 fights, and he never did anything when Dennis had him before.
no. And if Dennis said, like you just said there, Dennis has obviously stuck his neck out for him when he's not a ticket seller and all that. And yeah. Well, when you put it so in depth, he's definitely done him over, hasn't
Yeah,
he? Yeah.
but it's very interesting to see what's happening with it all. But okay, it's just that I just don't think Big Ron, knowing him as I do, he'll be happy how he's been treated. Like I said, not when he's done the heavy lifting. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But somebody said to me today that if it's a draw or a mandatory or a split decision or any controversy, they're going to do a trilogy with Elmer Fudd and the Lazy Rhino. What do you think to that? Rather than
Well,
rather than put Fudd near Adelaide for English.
it don't surprise me because no one seems to be have a singular fight nowadays. You know what I mean? Usyk has to fight everyone twice, and he masters them the first time round. It does. They're just that's the trend nowadays, isn't it? Just ring the flannel for every single pound you can get. That's why Tyson Fury's been put in that number one mandatory position for the WBC because he's entertaining according to the masses, so they can squeeze more money out of him as a potential champion or challenger again. You know, they're not bothered about Joseph Parkers of the world and Ajit Caballero, are they? Because they haven't got a voice. So it's sad, really.
Would you say that John Fury and Dave Allen are in the same bracket? Obviously, because a pair of them have never won a belt, but they've done well out of boxing was through social media. Would you say the geniuses or just cunning like foxes?
um, I don't. I get it. Like John Fury's another one. I never want to give him any credit, and calling someone cunning, giving him a little bit of credit, like they've got a little bit of mouth. John Fury's just a loudmouth. I'd say uh, Lazy Rhino's a lot more cunning, really, because he's squeezed a lot more money out of like having very limited talent or in ring talent as opposed to sparring talent because he sparred everyone, hasn't he? But yeah, I don't want to give John Fury credit. He's not on the same level as Dave Allen. At least Dave Allen's got in there and won some big fights when the opportunities arose. You know, John Fury should have been called Rembrandt because he spent most of his time on the canvas. So
Okay. There's a post out here from UK Anti-Doping. Mexican
mm,
professional boxer Mauricio Lara has been banned from all World Anti-Doping Code compliant sport for 2 years following anti-doping rule violations, ADRVs, for the presence and use of the prohibited substance bethamethasone, Sony or something. Uh,
yeah.
2 year ban. Obviously, he's got no promoter behind him and no dance partner. Uh, what do you think about that when you look at the Conor Benn situation? Obviously, Liam Cameron got a 4 year ban, didn't he, for cocaine. He's now come out and admitted taking it, but he's been denying it for the last fucking 5.5 years, hasn't he? But what do you make of it all?
Um, well, with regards to Liam Cameron, I still don't think it should have been as harsh, even though now he's admitted it, because cocaine isn't really it's not performance enhancing as such, is it? Not long term, anyway. Lara, you just answered the question there, Russ. He's not got a promoter behind him, and he's not got a voice, and he's also, there's not a Tony Lara from history who's like been a bloody domestic world champion or a domestic legend who's his dad. So, if you ain't got a voice, you ain't got a promoter, you're going to get these bans. They're not going to be silent and they're going to be very unfair.
Yeah, it's utter madness, isn't it, really? Absolute
Mm.
madness.
In fact, I want to clarify, Russ. I'm not saying that Lara being banned is unfair because if he cheated, ban him. What I'm saying is it's unfair that people can serve, alleged silent bans and other people are out in the media getting like, you know, they'll be getting people knowing that they've done wrong. Treat everybody the same in my eyes.
Yeah, it's. I look at it now. These bans that people are getting, they're quick to give people bans, but there were no big posts out when Canelo got his backdated 6 month, or were there?
No, certainly not.
Do you remember that though, James? When we had Jarrell Miller got done and Canelo close together. Tony
Yeah,
Bellew wanted them put in stocks so people come out in the street and stone them. And then when Billy
Hill
Joe
did.
Bang got done, Tony Bellew came out in their defence. What do you make of that?
Well, it's a joke, isn't it? Eddie Hills did the same thing with Canelo.
Yeah.
Oh, he shouldn't be allowed to fight at all. Next thing, they're best mates. Again, he's a money man, isn't he? He's got a personality. He was, the face of the sport that they like to remind us quite often. He was the face of the sport. So, as soon as there's a bit of money to be made, everybody. I mean, they're holding hands with Turkey, aren't they? As soon as Turkey stabs him in the back, oh, he's not His Excellency anymore. It's Turkey now. You know what I mean? So it just shows the hypocrisy of these people. Not a nice place to be, boxing, is it?
When you look at it though, when you come around to our way of thinking and the cold heart light of day, Roy Jones has been done because so he's got an asterisk next to his whole career for me.
Mm.
Holyfield's been done, right?
Yeah.
That's two dopers. Fury's been done,
Hmm.
right? Crusher Ben, Dylan White, Billy Joe, Vitaly Klitschko got done. Couldn't go to Olympics. 90.
Hmm.
So they stepped up Vladimir from heavyweight to super heavyweight. You remember that?
Yeah, 96. Yeah.
In Atlanta. Mike Tyson admitted in his book, uh, taking all sorts and using a plastic fake wizard to get through the test that already had somebody else's urine in.
Yep.
Uh, there's other people that have been done as well. Enzo Maccarinelli got done, didn't he?
Hmm.
Where does it end this? And Larry Alabama got done. There's loads been done, right?
Yeah.
Home Gardner got done.
Hmm.
When's it going to stop this? What we doing about it, James?
It's going to stop as soon as someone gets killed. That's the only way that it's going to get stopped. Like with everything, I mean, I did law at university, and we did sports law, and we covered like Hillsborough, for example. And Hillsborough, there was about 10 or 15 reports prior to Hillsborough happening saying that, oh, this is going to happen if you don't make changes to stadiums, crushes and things like that. It was only after people died at Hillsborough, massive media outcry, that they decided to change stadiums to all seaters. So it takes a catastrophe to push anything forward in life. And, we see it in society as well. What are those things, lessons learned whenever a kid dies or social services get things wrong? So that's exactly what's going to happen with boxing. Someone's going to die, someone's then going to piss hot, be a moral outrage, people will say lessons will be learned, and then the sport will start to take things seriously.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I absolutely agree. But I just think something needs to be done, and somebody needs to make a stance and give somebody a massive ban and set a precedent. But everybody's looking for an edge all the time. I'm starting to wonder if people have been or were retired boxers now were juicing years and just got away with it.
Mm, it does make you think. It was rife in the 90s, wasn't it? Absolutely rife. Everybody was on it.
Oh, everybody were on it in '90s, especially gyms round South Yorkshire. But people were getting away with it. People were having right long runs as champions in '90s, and they knew they were doping, but nobody were even being tested, were they?
It was voluntary, wasn't it?
Voluntary tests, weren't there? There were people throwing 1,000 punches a fight, and
Mm.
people were saying how they're doing that. Well, I'm telling you, they were on gear. Because everybody
Yeah.
else were doing the same training regimes and they couldn't do that. £1,000, 1,000 plus punches a
Uh-huh.
fight. And
Yeah.
I'm always weary about people that can throw like that, me. 1,000 punches.
Yeah, it's a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, boxing's rife with it, and this Conor Benn thing, absolutely shocking. The silence on the Dennis McCann one is absolutely unbelievable, but they've got this silent ban thing now down to a T, haven't they?
Yeah, of course I have. They'll come back and everyone will forget about it. Tyson Fury's never ever spoken about it, is it?
No, nobody ever wants to speak about it. Nobody's going to ask the questions, are they?
No.
Nobody's going to ask the questions. It's shocking. What do you think about the mainstream media now since I've been putting it on them in the last 12 months? Do you think they've booked their ideas up and they're getting brave, or do you think they're even worse?
No, they're even worse. They're even worse. When do they ask decent questions? This fight with Conor Benn shouldn't be happening, really. He should have been embarrassed out of the building. Yeah, he's strutting around like some gangster at the bloody Ring magazine inaugural ceremony. And like you got people, he's mingling with people like Roberto Duran. You what? Like, no, it's got worse. Anybody worth their salt, a proper journalist, would, like I say, he would have been too embarrassed to walk into the building. Yeah, they're giving him 10 million quid now, probably more because of the extra 3 million that Chris Eubank generated for him.
Well, I thought they
So,
were on six, they're guaranteed 6.5, aren't they?
yeah,
That'll be 10 million on the upside if they hit certain targets. Do you
we're
feel that
hoping, yeah.
Eubank is just to blame as well? Because why would he be giving? He keeps making a big issue about Crusher being a drug cheat. So why give him a payday? He's saying it's because
No,
teach him a lesson, but yeah, but the guy's
yeah,
paid. He doesn't care.
no.
If he cared
He
about
is,
boxing, he'd want to go area English, Commonwealth, British, wouldn't he?
yeah, of course he would. But he's just like his dad, isn't he? And this is probably the most controversial statement I'm going to make in the next few weeks, anyway. I've actually turned around on a few podcasts I've been on, and I don't necessarily agree that Chris Eubank Senior was a real legend because he literally cherry picked and he admitted to cherry picking, and he just said I was a prize fighter. He was basically a whore for the. He was a whore. You pay me the highest, I'll fight anybody. He admitted to not fighting Harold Graham because he was like, why would I bother fighting him? I couldn't hit him. And he also said he would only ever face people if they were a mandatory challenger for his WBO. That's not a legend. That's a man who's a very, very shrewd businessman.
Well,
So
when
he's
you
only
look at
like
his
his dad.
CV, James, when you look at Eubank Senior's CV, he's got 4 wins over champions, former, current, and future. Four. Richie Woodall's got 5. Jamie McDonald's got 5. He's got
And
4.
Ray Close should have beat him.
Yeah, we're disqualified. He should have been disqualified, shouldn't he, again that fight?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm using Ray Close as an example because who other than the hardcore would know who Ray Close is? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Tony Thornton did well against him. Postman Thornton.
Yeah, of course he did. Just a bit sad, really, but we laud him as a legend because he's eccentric, and this is what you were saying before us about personalities. In an age where we didn't have social media, you had to have a personality, and that was what was in place instead of social media for Chris Eubank. He's a legend because of his eccentricity, which was all probably a load of crap. If you got him on his own, I bet he talks like a bloody roadman gangster.
Yeah, well, he was in a petrol station the other day telling people to move the cars so he could get out, or he were going to have people arrested and the cars towed away, and he kept pointing to his sheriff badge. I mean,
Oh,
what a whopper this guy is.
I know, yeah,
No,
I know.
he's a bit eccentric in that, but come on, the guy is an absolute whopper of a man, and he's a car crash of a geezer.
Yeah, he is a little bit, yeah.
But okay, Matt, do you want to go on to part 3, James?
Certainly, mate. Certainly, I've seen a bit.
I'll see you on part 3. Pop, pop, bang.
You're
Thanks
on
for
part three.
watching and subscribing and leaving a comment. Please join us on part 3 with James. Women hate him, men don't want to be him. There you go. Pop, pop, bang. Peace out. Max, don't even ring me till you're a bridge away. You can't even do bridgerweight, Max. The man's sending me nonsense on text messages. Next time you text me, Max, I want to see you on scales at bridgerweight. Not Gerald Millerweight or Martin Bacoli weight. All right. We'll get in with Adrian King. Big shout out Curtis Woodhouse, Peter De Freitas, Pop Pop Bang. Kent, have you got your iPad? Jenny, we'll have you on tomorrow night.